La Rosa.
Sometimes you have facts, sometimes you have details, sometimes you have a little bit of everything.
Well, it's the latest.
On The Breakfast Club.
Talk to me.
Okay, y'all, so let's get into this Pusha T Clipse conversation. So Pusha T and his brother Malice sat down with GQ, and they had a conversation about everything, where music is now, and the fact that, you know, they have their first album coming out. It's been 15 years. But one of the biggest questions that a lot of people had is, why has it taken so long? And according to Pusha T, he says that Def Jam tried to censor Kendrick Lamar's verse on a song that they have on the album, and eventually it turned into a back and forth of censor it, take the song off, and then from there it went to them eventually dropping Clipse and Pusha T solo.
That's
and
crazy.
then them moving on.
Well, it hasn't been 15 years because of that. It was 15 years because, you know, the one brother gave up rap at one time and
Yes.
wanted to do Christian rap. And,
Yes.
And now
But
they got back together doing
But
rap.
I mean, they dropped the press release over the summer, and over the summer when they dropped the press release, and then remember they teased the song
Yep.
at the LV fashion show.
Yep.
People thought that it was gonna be like a lot sooner than right now than
Yep.
today. So that's what I'm referring to. But so what happened was when that press release dropped, a lot of people realized that there was no mention of Def Jam, which was a thing because Clipse, their whole deal with Def Jam was new. It happened over like the last year or so. So people was like, what is going on? And instead they actually attributed the distribution and the marketing to Jay-Z's Rock Nation. So in the GQ article, Pusha T talks about, you know, they were really excited. They went to Def Jam. They were proud. They thought that, you know what I mean? Like everything was moving how it was supposed to move. And then Def Jam heard the song Chains and Whips, which is the song that Kendrick Lamar is on. And they weren't going for it. Specifically, there was an attorney with Def Jam, and they are claiming that this attorney is the person who said, okay, we have to censor the song. And then it was the person who said, well, what if we just remove the song altogether? And then came back and said, okay, let's move away from the clips. Let's drop the clips. So Pusha T is like, well,
that was dumb.
The issue is,
you know why they censoring them. I'm sure Def Jam wanted to censor Kendrick because they're in the middle of this lawsuit with Drake.
Yes.
I guarantee you that has something to do with that lawsuit.
Of course.
Yes. So according to Pusha T, the lawyer's name was Steve Gawley, and he says that what he believes is their issue was that, you know, you got two of Drake's biggest like arch enemies, right? Who were on this song, and they're UMG's in the middle of, or Def Jam, they're in the middle of this lawsuit, so they're like, no, we can't, like we don't want any more fire. Let's just sit back. And Pusha T's like, well, basically that has nothing to do with us. So they're like, well, we'll just drop the clips. And then Pusha T is like, well, the issue is I'm still here as a solo artist. So if